Can you start
Hi,
with
everyone. I am Michelle Tennant Nicholson, International Publicist, and I'm also a precinct leader in East Flat Rock here in Henderson County. And with me today is I have Pat Sheley. I'm sure you've heard Sheley Speaks for You. And we are having a conversation with Pat about how precinct leaders can actually speak about her key messages to voters. Hi, Pat. So nice to meet you.
Hey, Michelle. First of all, I just want to thank you for offering candidates an opportunity to speak to the chairs of our precincts and our precinct members. This project, as we know, is a very valuable, it's an invaluable part, really, of campaigning. And there's no way to overstate the efforts of our precincts to get the vote out.
Thank you so much. Let me, what I forgot to say to everybody is that what she's talking about is my pet project that I'm volunteering my time to create is howtobeaprecinctleader.org. So if this is the only video that you've seen, then you want to go over to that YouTube playlist and check out some of our other precinct training videos. It was something that I needed myself, and then I thought that would be helpful to other precinct leaders. And by the way, if you're wondering where am I, I'm at a car dealership getting my tires rotated. So just include all that background noise. So, and I'll mute myself while Pat's talking. Go ahead, Pat.
Well, we can't overstate the importance of the efforts of our precincts to get that vote out. And I'm pleased to have this opportunity to speak directly to them. These are the men and women who will be responsible for our coming blue tsunami. So let's move on to the handbill that they'll be carrying for me. And the handbill has my name on it. Of course, I'm running for Henderson County Board of Commissioners, and it's in English, and it's also in Spanish, so that if we have any Spanish primary speaking people, that will encourage them to vote. Now, we also have included in our materials, and we've encouraged the headquarters to offer our early voting schedule that we have printed out. I would suggest that everyone look at this and look at their calendar and determine when they should do early voting, because early voting is so important to us. We need every vote. Now, take that early voting list and put it on your refrigerator, either a magnet or tape, to remind you. I'm an old nurse. That's where we always put important information, especially when we're doing home care. That's where the medications, directions was on the refrigerator.
Now, Pat, I have a question about that. And by the way, everybody, you're going to be seeing Ron as her name in the bottom corner of our Zoom frame. Ron Redman is her campaign manager, and that's the reason for the name Ron, if you're wondering, like, who's Ron? That's who Ron is. So why is early voting so important? When I'm talking to voters so far, it's been really about just making sure that they get a vote in. And a lot of them like to do the absentee voter because they have such busy schedules. So
I've lost you. I've lost your picture here. How do I get back on it?
It's okay. We can still see you, and we
can you still see me? Okay.
I can see you just fine. So don't worry about it. It'll probably fluctuate. Zoom likes to kind of fluctuate as we're speaking, and I can tell who's actually being taped with it actually frames us in a green screen, so we should be good. Tell me why early voting is so important for the candidates versus absentee voting or voting on the day of. Is there a difference?
Well, the thing is that I did watch Sam Edney's video that he did. My good friend Sam is emphasizing early voting and absentee voting in his candidate video. And we are also doing the same thing. You never know if you might be called out of town. The only time I never voted in my life was when my daughter needed me in Georgia. And I did not get to vote that year. So early voting is important, because waiting till election day, you might not make it there. There might be bad weather. We need you to cast your vote early. We need all hands on deck here. So I can't overstress the importance that every vote counts. So please talk to voters about early voting and absentee ballot. Now, if you see someone in the home handicapped, encourage them to vote by absentee ballot. And you should have in your information that you're carrying a request for an absentee ballot. Now, if you do not have one of those, refer the voter to the Henderson County Board of Elections, and they will send out a form requesting a ballot. That you can do that by phone. The other thing
so really, wait a minute. I didn't know that. You could do this by phone? I thought you could only do that, that you had to fill out the form and then mail that in.
You can request the form by phone. They will send it to you. If you do not, and then that is again asking for the ballot, so that they have a ballot early on. So yes, you can call the Board of Elections, and I have their phone number, not right here in front of me, but it's very available.
Yeah, why don't we get Ron to grab that, and then we'll give that phone number in just a few seconds. But then also, Pat, you know, in our packet from headquarters, we were given a stack of ballots, and so my idea was just to hand those directly. And we've been there's actually been some phone conversations with our phone campaigns where people, like one woman was in Georgia, and she's like, "Can you just mail one to my house? I'll fill it out and then send it in," that kind of thing. That's what I had planned to do this Sunday when we're canvassing, is just hand those forms to people too.
Please do. Please do. And if you don't have them, again, you can go to the Board of Elections, and the forms that you are carrying, it is okay to copy them. These may be copied for more copies. The other thing,
so early voting, and so it's really great. What other, I also want to spend some time too on specifically on why you're running and what we could be saying on why Pat, you know, she speaks for us, and what does she say? That's what we're going to hear.
well, I want to, it's still on absentee voting. Let's not forget our students can absentee vote. It's a good way for them to vote. Again, you don't need to go in, they need to vote. The other people who need to vote, possibly by absentee ballot, is those who are intimidated going to the poll. And we know that some of that is going on in our county, did during the primary. And so those people may also vote absentee ballot. Well, do you want to know who I am at this point, or would you just like to know why I'm running? Well, I'm running because I've watched the Henderson County Board of Commissioners make poor decisions. They waste our county monies. And while not listening or speaking to the people of Henderson County is what they're doing. I watched the Parkland school violence. I watched as one student after another spoke about the tragedy of losing classmates. I then realized that these are the young people who will be our leaders of tomorrow. But what could I do now to help in my community? That is when I decided I could make a difference here in Henderson County. I also watched as the 5 men on our commission made decisions for women of Henderson County. Women have no voice on the current commission. They represent 52% of our residents, though, so I want to be a voice for the women of Henderson County. That's why I am running.
So Pat, tell me a little bit about, you know, some of the, when people say to us, you know, well, what's Pat all about? What does she stand for? And as precinct leaders, what are some things that, some hot button issues that you'd like for us to really talk about?
Okay.
So like, you know, education and women's issues, I hear.
Right.
I know that what's really of importance to, when we've taken polls, people are saying that healthcare is #1 on their minds. What about the key issues that you really want to make a difference with?
Well, you know, some of those are state issues and federal issues you're talking about. Now, they're very important, and I don't want to minimize those candidates. But I will tell you that the biggest difference in our daily lives is right here in Henderson County by the decisions made by the Henderson County Board of Commissioners. I want to tell you what happens to us in this county is by our elected officials. Let's think emergency medical services. our sheriff's department, roads, school maintenance and safety, and land development. Those are very important to us in this county, and the commissioners make those decisions. There's other issues over the past year. My opponent, Mike Edney, has been the chair of the Henderson County Board of Commissioners. Under his leadership, there have been a number of colossal errors in judgment, big errors, the kind we cannot afford in time or money. Example, the Balfour Highway project. There was lack of transparency. They weren't telling people what was going to happen. In the process, there was a lack of respect for citizen input. Quite frankly, this is not leadership. A new high school for Hendersonville, whether you want it or you're against it, building a new high school, let's remember that the county commissioners have flushed $4.8 million down the toilet. The commission's last act has been to kick the can down the road to the next board of commissioners and the next school board to deal with, not leadership. I must say, what I see right now when I stand over at Pop's Diner and look over is Hendersonville's own pit of despair. These examples have one thing in common: failed leadership. It is time for new ideas, fresh energy, and a woman's perspective, and I am the woman to do it.
I've gotten to know you in the campaign. I mean, not personally, but just, your passion. And that's one thing that's always attracted me to who you are as a candidate, because you're so very passionate about things. And you definitely have some fresh energy and some passion and commitment. So in the closing of our video, is there any final words that you would like to say as we get on the phones and go out and canvass?
Well, I don't know if you would like to know a little more about my background. Some people might want to know where I come from.
Sure, that'd be great.
I have actually lived and worked in North Carolina for over 50 years. I am from a working family. My father was a mechanic in a steel foundry. My mother took in washing and ironing to make ends meet. They paid for my 3 years to get a diploma RN, and I believe in education. Along the way, I went to North Carolina State and took some classes, and I became certified in my specialty in nursing, which was mental health and psychiatric nursing. I married a cop, basically, and he and I were able to provide our daughter an education, tuition-free, at App State. I will tell you, we worked long hours and extra shifts to offer her that education. So education is very important to me in this county. Michelle, I want to thank you, and I want to thank this precinct audience that will view this video, and I look forward to representing the people of Henderson County as their commissioner. And Sheley will speak for you, as you said.
I love that. I do. I do believe that. And I have my pink t-shirt from you that says it, and I love it, and I wear it, and I plan to wear it when I'm canvassing. So thanks for all that you're doing, and thanks for standing up for us and standing up for our county. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for this project.
You're welcome.